break, we were speaking to the South African Human Rights Commission's Commissioner, Gaum, about the issue of pit latrines in our schools. Mr. Gaum, we were talking about the role that you are going to be playing in the interdict of the High Court. What effectively is this interdict going to allow you to do? What does it propel the Education Department to do?
Yes, so we want an interdict similar to the structural interdict granted by the High Court in Limpopo in respect of schools in that provinces. So this will basically force the provinces, the five I've mentioned, and we're still looking at the Limpopo situation as well in terms of whether we want a structural interdict that stretches further than the one that Section 27 got. But it will force the provinces to prioritize the eradication of pit latrines in schools and submit detailed plans to the attainment of this objective with timelines and so forth. So such an interdict will then enable the Commission and other stakeholders to monitor the implementation and execution of the plans. In May this year, I wrote on behalf of the Commission to all the MECs in all the provinces in the country, requesting information pertaining to the status of water and sanitation at each and every school, and we got that information. So we know exactly what the situation is at the different schools. We've also published a report in that regard, summarizing the information we got from the provinces themselves. And it is the plan and the timelines will be related to these specific schools that have been identified by the provinces themselves, which information we have, and we have also made that information public before.
And which are the five? And which are the five provinces that are most affected?
Yes, the five provinces that's now apart from Limpopo as such as well, but is Mpumalanga, Northwest, Free State, KwaZulu-Natal, and the Eastern Cape provinces. So the situation, in short, at these provincial departments of education in respect of the schools are that there are 983 schools in KwaZulu-Natal that are reliant on pit latrines. 9 schools are without water, 44 schools have no form of sanitation, and 19 use pit latrines in the Northwest province. 113 schools are without water in the Limpopo province. 59 schools are using pit latrines in Mpumalanga. 2,256 schools are using pit latrines in the Eastern Cape. And in the Free State, there are 5 schools without any form of sanitation. And it is this situation at these specific schools that we want to be addressed as soon as virtually possible. The right to a basic education is immediately realizable, and that most definitely includes rights pertaining to basic sanitation and water facilities.
So what then is the way forward? You will be approaching the High Court, and what are the timelines that we're looking at for the enforceability of any sort of structural interdict?
Yeah, we are currently in the process of briefing attorneys who will then brief counsel. So obviously, as soon as we have our papers ready, we'll be able to approach the necessary court of courts in this regard. So we are most definitely aiming for as early as possible next year.
And why has it taken this long to actually take a step such as this? Granted, you have been working quite continuously on this particular issue, but why now that you've taken this last resort? Could this not maybe have been done earlier?
Yes, now, you see, first of all, this is a matter that has developed over time, unfortunately. In the first instance, we also published a report as early as 2014. Our report was titled "The Right to Access Sufficient Water and Decent Sanitation." The Commission cautioned in this report that the lack of access to sanitation violates several basic human rights, including the right to dignity, education, and offends the right to a safe and healthy environment. Following the publication of this report, the Commission held several meetings with the National Department of Basic Education during which we highlighted the provisioning of water and sanitation to schools as an urgent matter. The National Department committed itself to prioritize and oversee access to potable water and sanitation by the end of 2014-2015 financial year. However, education being a concurrent function between the national and provincial government, it rests with the provinces to ensure that the budgets are indeed aligned to this priority. And therefore, we have moved our focus also to the LEC, particularly. We initially, asked a more general question just to indicate which schools are without water and sanitation, and we didn't get specific and proper responses to that, and that's why we have then decided to actually require them to provide us with a list of all schools in the provinces, indicating exactly what the type of water and sanitation at each school is. After that, we have put them on terms to come up with a plan and time frames. They haven't complied completely to what we've requested them, and hence this litigation. It should have actually happened earlier, but we are now in a position that we really have the information we require and have put the NECs on terms, and in view of the inadequacy of the replies we received, we are now commencing with the litigation.
Commissioner Gaum, we thank you very much for that update. Certainly looking forward to what the year that is ahead holds in store regarding this particular process. That's Commissioner Andre Gaum from the